Hello, welcome to another edition of application of GIS in forestry. Today we want to look at how we can extract the area where logging activities are taking place within Akure Forest Reserve using the historical images of Google Earth, Google Earth Pro. So we move to Google Earth Engine Pro. And under the Google Earth Engine Pro, you if you are now have saved, you have installed and have saved the Google Earth Engine. So we want to look at Akure Forest Reserve. We type Akure Forest Reserve. That and it will take us to where Akure Forest Reserve is. This is Akure Forest Reserve, and we want to zoom to a particular area of the Akure Forest Reserve so that we can actually see what is there. Now, let me remove the. So, if you are there, the Akure Forest Reserve around the area. So, what we need to do is to check the area of active logging where logging has taken place in 2024. This image we have here is 2024. If you go to the historical image under show historical imagery, use timer. So if you click on this, when it's interactive, so it's showing the condition of the forest reserve at Akure Forest Reserve in 2025. So we can actually see that these are the area where very active logging are taking place. We want to see what happened in those areas in earlier than that. So we can look at what is this area in 2009. 2009, you move the sliding bar to 2009, and then we see the the area, and then you can see that some of this area are forest, and then you can see that these are high forest area. We can see the area that have been degraded. So we want to get our coordinates that we can use to georeference this image in our Google Earth engine, in our QGIS or ArcGIS. So what you need to do is to use the point here, and then you use the point, that is place mark, and then you come to the place mark. You now place the place mark on a particular area so that you want to know this point, and then you come to the name of that place point, and then you put the coordinate. You Control C to copy the coordinate, and then you place it, and then you put a comma, then you copy this, and also Control C, and then you place it there. So meanwhile, you need to go to under tool option and make sure that you place the Google Earth engine latitude and longitude. It should be in decimal degree. And if if you want to use UTM, you can select transverse Mercator so that the latitude and longitude will be displayed as decimal degree or whatever. So you do the same for all those points. So you do the same for point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5 for this area, which you will use to georeference it before you can start digitizing the image. So this image is what the situation of the forest reserve was in 2009. This is 2009, showing that this is what we have in the forest reserve in 2009. So if you want to see what happened in 2016, this is what is happening in 2016. We have a lot of cloud cover in 2016, so you may not be able to use the image. So this is what happened in 2018. So let's say we want this image, we want to use this image to see the area of active deforestation, which are here, which are this, and then in 2018. So when you are done, you know all those points that you have your image. Let's say this is what you do. You want to put another area that you want to use to georeference your image. You put it here, and then you come to this Control C is to copy. You press Control C on your keyboard, and then you put a comma, Control C here again, and Control V to paste. So you want to use this one so that the label will show you the coordinate that you are going to put there. So after you are done with this, then you come to this area and you save your image. Save your image, and then you come to edit, and you copy image. Copy image, and then when you are copying the image, now you now go to any paint or Photoshop that you can use to actually show that can show your. So I've opened an image before. So now if you have a new, then you can now Control V. It will now paste your image. You paste your image, which you have copied there, the copy image, and then you paste it here, and then you can now say, okay, save as image. I'm using paint in the Google, and then I'm going to say Akure Reserve, Akure Forest. So I'm going to type Akure Forest, and you can save it as save it in your desktop. Then I now go to QGIS. When you come to QGIS, when you are in QGIS, you can actually have a new image. And then here under the QGIS, you come to layer, add layer, because it's a raster data. The image you got is a raster data. You click on raster data, and then you navigate to where you save the work, Akure Forest, and then you open it and you add. And when you add it, this is the image of Akure Forest Reserve in 2018. And then you have this point that you can use to georeference the location, because what you have here is just the what you have here is just like a scanned map, like an image, like a JPEG, like a photograph, like a picture, like image. So it's not georeference, does not have georeferencing properties, does not have geographic properties. Therefore, what you need to do now is to georeference this image, and then if you have to georeference, you have to make sure that we add the advanced visualizing tools. We make sure that we put all our panels. When you right click on this place to make sure that you have your referencing properties, and then you come to layer. Under the layer, you have georeference. If you have installed the georeferencing property. So when you say georeference, you now come to the file, you open the raster data again, and then on the raster, we are looking at Akure Forest Reserve, and then you come here. So you want to add the control point to this area, but the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you zoom so that you know exact point where that point is pointing to or is showing you. So we now come to this area, you say add point. You have add point. So if you come to this point, you make sure that your cross wire is on the pin, and then you left click, and then you say what is your est, which is your easting is 7.314183. Then our y is 5.027048. So if you are done with that, WGS84 not projected, so you click OK. So you move to this point. We can use this point or we can use this other point. So you come to this add point, and then you make sure that your cursor is exactly at the edge of that pin. You left click, and then you move it so that you can see the coordinate 7.314173, then 5.030869. So you leave the coordinate as WDS84, and you click OK. Click OK. So you need at least 3 points to georeference your map or your image. So let's go to another point. Out of we have about 5 points there, but we are going to use 3. So let me use this. So hard point. So we have 7.311836. We have 5.030491. Okay. So with those 3, we are good. So now come to this point. You can now say start georeferencing. Okay, so we need to do output file name. What kind of reference we want to do? We have option of linear, polynomial, or projective, but we are going to use linear. And what we want to use is WGS84. Then we need to put the output name. Let's say Geo Akure. So, and we leave it at GeoTIFF, and then the sampling method compression, leave everything as it is, and then you want to generate report or we want to generate map. Let us say we want this, we want to reference it that way, and then it will transform the map into what is actually the image of Akure Forest Reserve that is georeference, that's now image, not ordinary picture or photo. So after we are done, so it will open in the display window, because this one, the georeferencing window, is just to georeference your image, and after you have georeferenced your image, then you can continue. Now our georeferencing is done, and then you can see it's already displayed in the layer here, Geo Akure. We now have the georeference one. But what is in the display now is just the old one, the old image which was downloaded before. Now we can go to Geo Akure and you right click and you say zoom to layer. You now see this is the georeference map of the area. This is the way it is geographically represented based on the geographic positioning. So now we can now digitize the area that has been that have been where logging activity took place before prior to 2018. So a typical area is this place and this area. So we are going to digitize. And how do we do that? We go to layer, create layer, and in this case now we are creating a shapefile, and we want our layer to be, let's say we call it a log area. Log area, we want to create a shapefile, log area. We have discussed how we create a shapefile in our previous previous series. So now we can now come make it a polygon. The geometric type is polygon, and then the name of the first field, let's just call it name, and then we can click OK. So we leave it as WGS84, and then you have the log area here, and then you can zoom to the area, and then you click on the editing tool toggle mode, and then once it is when you toggle it, change to editing mode, and then you can see this tool, and when you pick the tool, you can digitize the area, the logging area in the forest reserve. So when you are done, you right click and you put 1 as the first ID. When you do the second one, you can also go there and see what is happening. This is another area of logging activity. When you are done, put 2 for this one, and that's how you can extract the logging area in an image. So you can actually see what happened in 2018, you can see what happened in 2009, you can see what happened in 2015, you can see what happened in 2020, and you can see what happened now. So that you can see the rate of logging activity in the forest reserve using historical images in the Google Earth Engine code. Thank you for listening. So we are going to something else in the next series. So watch for it.